Selkirk Avenue and the north end of Winnipeg, places that over the years have become synonymous with images of neglect, poverty, gangs, and violence. The north end of Winnipeg, however, also has a long history of community building. It is a place that celebrates achievement, where people enjoy being together, and where young families are doing well. Until recently, though, efforts to build community were hampered by the Merchants Hotel, a proud local landmark that went from looking like this in the 1970s to becoming the Merch, a magnet for criminal activity and a source of fear for area residents as they went about their day-to-day lives.
I've worked here for 17 years and I've never walked on that side of the street because of the activities that happen there. I don't want to be in the way of something that happens.
That the Merchants Hotel had a negative impact on the lives of countless families is a well-known reality in Winnipeg. So is its contribution to how the North End is perceived as a place to avoid. Media images like this one reinforced this notion, further separating the mostly Indigenous people who live here from the rest of the city. Area residents dreamed of one day closing the Merch.
I was really starting to feel like that'll never change, and it's hard to change a community with that in the community, right in the middle of our community.
The dream did come true. After years of collaboration between community elders, North End community groups, local businesses, and government, the hotel closed on April 29, 2012.
I distinctly remember that day walking down to the Merchants Hotel and seeing the sign on the door saying that it was closed and that it was under new management. People stopping in front and taking pictures and just being very overwhelmed with joy to see that their neighborhood was being reclaimed.
Also being reclaimed that day was a new sense of safety and ease, as well as the chance to participate more fully in local efforts to build community and capacity. For these community groups, it was also a chance to build on the educational opportunities that were created in recent years, as post-secondary programs became available on Selkirk Avenue. Urban Circle Training Center was the first to commit to the area when it centralized its programs in this new building in 2004, a decision that caused some trepidation for longtime employees.
There was a point where we doubted that we should move here, but we didn't hesitate. We just pursued forward, and it seemed like everybody followed us down here.
The U of M Inner City Social Work program soon followed, and so did the U of W Department of Urban and Inner City Studies. The decision to offer these programs off campus and in the North End was based on a need for a curriculum that is culturally sensitive. It was also based on research showing that people feel safer and do better when they can study with others who have similar life experiences.
The needs of the people in this community are different than the needs of people in other communities. And recognizing that and providing those opportunities can only bring good results.
The education programs offered on Selkirk Avenue are also tailored to people's realities in the North End. And because the programs are practical, most graduates quickly find jobs as well.
I think the educational centers that are working in this part of Winnipeg and on Selkirk Avenue have seen the importance of education as a means to move into the economy for growing self-sufficiency of individuals and families. And I think that's a good balance.
Education is key to a balanced life because finding steady employment leads to transforming old cycles of dependency. Education also has its own rewards.
I found almost immediately in my own experience, I looked at myself differently. I think that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest change that anybody needs to experience, is just seeing themselves in another way.
Improvements in self-image also create a ripple effect, inspiring other family members to begin with their own educational journey. People benefit, and the community benefits.
We are definitely a community that is very different than most communities out there. We're a community that is not afraid to walk down the street and say hi and smile, and it's really friendly. You have to be down here to get that experience. It's a very different community.
These new positive stories, however, contrast with everyday life in the North End, a life that remains difficult for many.
I think people cannot imagine how vital the human capacity is to adapt to challenging situations. And this is a situation of survival in the midst of real challenges in the North End of Winnipeg. And Selkirk Avenue, I think, is becoming a place of renewal and an opportunity. I think many people in the city would be surprised at that, but there are changes happening here that are very hopeful.
A sign there is hope in the North End is the fact that many students choose to settle here once they graduate and raise their families.
For a long time, we've been visitors in this part of the city, and people don't realize that we now make this home. We're becoming a people here. I think we recognize we can have our place in Winnipeg, and it's positive.
Closing the old Merchants Hotel was a crucial step in local efforts to create change. And now an opportunity also exists to literally transform the community. Area residents want to breathe new life into the building and redevelop it as a community and education center. The vision is to create a North End community campus to serve all age groups and educational needs. It will also integrate local resources like the Makonsuk Intergenerational Children's Center and the CETA Pathways to Education program. This new community hub will also include space for the community, as well as much-needed new housing units, becoming a magnet for new and positive community activities.
I see it as a meeting place and a learning place and a communicating place.
The redeveloped Merchants Corner should also become an important anchor on Selkirk Avenue, bringing new people and activities to the street and encouraging businesses to come back. This community elder's commitment to the Merchants Project is guided by a vision to create positive role models for children.
I think people who have any sense of economy will know that programs in this part of the city are a good investment. But more than that, the quality of human shared existence in the land is a value to many of us. If we can improve opportunities for the young people and the children by supporting families for education and employment, we are doing something that is not only good for the heart, but good for the pocketbook. And I think that can be easily recognized.
If kids are doing well and they're thriving, that's good for our economy, that's good for our communities, that's good for our world.
Community organizers also believe the project will help to counter a disturbing trend in the community: youth suicide.
Kids are taking their own lives because they feel like there's no hope, or that that opportunities aren't there for them. And I think that that's probably one of the saddest things, that we're failing them so profoundly that they feel like that's the only option that they have.
This reality is not lost on local business people, like this bakery owner who has volunteered countless hours to the Merchants Project, his way of giving back to a neighborhood that helped his family thrive for decades.
The payoff is that you're allowing someone the opportunity to become more than what their possibilities are now. And that's the important thing.
3, 2, 1, go!
The North End of Winnipeg is changing. And with rising levels of education, people are becoming more confident in their own potential. To their credit, they've initiated many of these positive changes, but they also need the support of the greater community. An ongoing barrier to the community's vision for the Merchants Corner, however, is the reality that the North End remains divided from the rest of the city, in large part because old stereotypes persist.
You have to get beyond the reputation that you hear. It's not about the area, it's about the people who live within the areas. And there are a lot of people that care here.
People care because what they see in the Merchants Redevelopment Project is its potential to build a stronger and healthier community in the North End, and to break barriers and build new bridges across the city.
It is gone. The Merchant Hotel is gone. And now it'll be something else. A new creation that's gonna make the community an even better place. Amen, hallelujah, and let the good times roll, I say.